Alright, let's go over the new fuel system for this thing. So we looked at several different options, and there's the one I mentioned on the last video. I think it was DSX or something. They make an auxiliary fuel pump that has you drill it in right here like this, but it's like a -6 maybe, 3/8 pipe. And then it comes, the feed to that pump comes along here, puts the pump right in here, and then has a 180 fitting out of here, comes all the way back around here. And then this is your feed to the front of the car. So this comes out of the flex sensors right here, and then it goes to the flex sensor, and then that's where it goes up to the front of the car through here and then up to the engine bay. So the DSX kit or whatever it is has a fitting that goes right here that tees in that pump into the stock fuel lines. There's no regulator or anything, and it's a 255 liter per hour pump. And the way they control it, I guess, or turn it on is they plug into your map sensor and they turn the pump on at about, I read anywhere from like 9 to 10 pounds of boost. And I think you can change that if you request it. But I know that the stock pump in these cars is allegedly ZL1 pump, which is good for what, about 650 flywheel horsepower. But on my other Turbo Caprice, when I may have still had the stock injectors in it, but anyway, I was running out around 3 pounds of boost or somewhere in there. Well, not running out, it was finally getting up to about 80% duty cycle on the injectors, and then I went to the fast 96 injectors, which don't recommend. The data on them is garbage. Well, actually they don't give you data. I found another thread on what was it? It was the HP Tuners forum. They had a guy on there had them and actually loaded a file that had decent data that ran okay for me. So I use that, but this car has 210 pound per hour injectors from Varin, and the Holley's running the injectors and the coils on this car. So instead of trying to cram more pumps in the tank and deal with all of that, I decided to go with the same thought process as that auxiliary pump. So this is a -12 3/4 pipe to a -12, and then we come over to our 100 micron filter, and then we come all the way up here, which I do realize that pumps rather push than suck, but where are you gonna put the pump? Really, right here is really the only nook in this car where you can fit it. You know, it's and the more I work on these cars, the less I enjoy them, but I digress. So we have this nice long pickup all the way back here. That's why we went with the -12. Of course, I always like to run a -12 when I'm feeding the pump anyway. But so then our return's coming down from here. It's a -6, follows the same path, and then turns up in here. And the yellow wire right there is where I wired the Holley into the flex fuel, so it can run. So I can run the flex fuel with the Holley, and I'll program it to turn on and run the flex fuel. So I'm not real sure how this is gonna work. Not real happy with it, but you know, what do you do? Drilled it, tapped it. The threads look like garbage. I don't know if the tap was just dull or what the deal was, but anyway, threaded it in there and then loaded it up with some JB weld. Of course, it's empty, and I let it dry overnight and then added a second coat. Hopefully it'll hold okay. But so up here at the discharge of the pump, we'd come up here and then went through right there with our supply and return. So it's a -8 feed and then a -6 return. And there's the air filter with the little turbo. And then we'll go to the top. Alright, so we'll start back here in the trunk. So this big power wire right here actually hooked up here, came across the back here, and then went over to the auxiliary battery in these cars. This was the side where they had another battery, and all those loose connectors right there, those went to powered all the police stuff in the console and everything. And basically you can just unplug all that and remove the battery. So what I did is I just hooked that big wire back up, ran it over to a 75 amp relay, and then used one of that other big power wire that was in the car. That I guess that wouldn't be the upfitter, but whoever decommissioned it, they left that nice big red wire in there. And I was only going to run like an 8-gauge wire or something, but I think it was $13 for 8 feet or something. And I was like, well, you can't go bigger's not going to hurt anything. So I just went ahead and used it in this application. And then we'll come around these fitting table I was compiling everything to piece this thing together, some of my fittings. So right here's the easy way to get to GM fuel pumps is get out the grinder and start hacking until you find the hat. And this is the power wire, zip tied to everything to go down under the car. And this is the return I added. So it's just a -8 bulkhead because that's what I had. I would have used a -6 had I had it. And this is actually a -8 to a -6 hose. So again, just using what I had because I don't want to spend any more money on it. So there's that part of it. Had to do this to get the return from our new regulator back into here and go up to the front. So this is where these hoses come up from under the car right here, and then this is the loom for the holly harness. So there's a check valve down in there. I really don't want to show you down in there, but the check valve down in there, it comes into the regulator, and then we got a -8 over to our Y fitting, and then I wanted to have a filter. It's not very aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know. It's only temporary unless it works, then it's permanent, so kind of thing. So this is that's where it comes in from the stock, right about there. So then we put a fitting in there. It's a 3/8 fitting to a -6, and then that's a secondary oil pressure that reads to the holly. So I've got the one right there that goes to the car, and then the one that goes there. Whenever I was doing the integration, I kind of had a brain fart and didn't realize that I was thinking about the temperature sensor. As far as you can't piggyback into a temp sensor because it won't give you the right reading. So I don't know, I just had a brain fart, and my hands work quicker than my brain, so I put that on there, and then I realized, oh yeah, it's a 5-volt thing. I could have just piggybacked it and run the car and the Holly off of that. But anyway, it is what it is. Nice to have two sensors, I guess, so if one goes bad, which the Holly ones typically do go bad all the time. And it sounds like the UPS truck just dropped off the deep pan for this car, so that's what's going to go on next, is a deep pan kit and the better filter. But anyway, we got I think it's a 20 micron because it's the stainless, because I want to run the flex fuel. So it comes in here, dash 8 in here. These are, I don't know, I got these rails at Summit. I think they were $110 or something. You know, of course, by the time you see this, it might have tripled in price. But so we got a dash 8 in, goes across to the 210s, and then got a dash 8 crossover in the rear. And then I did an amazing job centering the hole in this cap, and also an amazing job at getting it square in the fitting. Look at that. But I probably should have a 90-degree fitting on there or something, so the fuel pressure is not just banging against it. But I guess we'll see how it works. And then I got to hook up the reference, so I'll get my 1-to-1 rise and the yeah, that's the UPS, man. All right, end the video.